Hello there. This is Wednesday evening, and we are so excited to have you with us again on Talk with Judy. I have a very special guest with me today. I'm just going to get right to it, all right? And this is Sandy that you're seeing, Sandy Good, and she lives in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
How about this? A dear, longtime friend of about 25 plus years.
About 25, I'd say.
So we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, especially to the women, not exclusively, but especially to the women today. And we're going to talk about, I would introduce Sandy to you, but our topic and the content of this message today is going to introduce her. So we're going to be talking about what it means to be a wife, a mother, an entrepreneur, and then me. And then Sandy. So after having those hats and those duties and those responsibilities of a wife, mother, entrepreneur, and of course a friend, but then we got to get down to me. What about me? And I want to recognize that on our last podcast and some of our interaction, we talked about self-care. Remember that one? How important it is to have self-care. As we're taking care of everybody else, we finally got to get down to taking care of us. And Sandy's going to open up our eyes to, and this is not my theory, this is not a book she read, this is the book of her life, because she is definitely a mother. As you see, she's been married. She's going on 50 years of marriage. I know you can't tell it.
No, 51 and a half.
51 and a half.
To be exact.
So you see that her youngins are not youngins anymore. She'll tell you all about that. The mother, the wife, and then the entrepreneur. She does counseling. She's a consultant now, but before that, the business that her and her husband ran for many, many, many years, and still a part of it. And then what she's doing now and who she is now. And so that last part is, is just, I love the last part.
I do too.
What are we doing now?
I love the last part
now?
too.
You like the last
Yeah,
part?
I like the last part too.
All right. So Sandy, so, when we talk about all of us that wear different hats in when you're a mother, when you're a wife, when you're you have business, and then the things of the business of the business, and then the business of the house business, and then of course the business of the husband also. I want to know, was there, here's a good place to start with you. Was it a struggle to juggle? And I say juggle and not balance it all out.
Yeah.
That is important. That is impossible to balance the wife, the mother, the business, and then you. That's important to balance. So I'm saying you have to be in life juggling. And so we want to see how did you prioritize? How did you do that?
Where did it begin?
Time? Oh, there you go.
Where did it begin?
Where did it begin? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandy Good.
Nice to be here today. And I guess I would share with you where my life began. I actually met my husband in 3rd grade.
Wow.
I mean, is that crazy?
Wow.
Had our first kiss when we were 8. We just go so far back.
I hope it wasn't a real kid.
No,
Okay.
I think it was just a peck on the cheek. 8 years old, back in those days, you didn't do those things, right? But so we started out young, knowing each other, been together forever, got married. We were, if I tell you how old I was when I got married, and then I tell you how old my kids are, you'll know how old I am. So I'll just say we've been married for 51 and a half years. And a lot of young girls go, oh, that's so romantic. Really? You met him in 3rd grade? And honestly, you know what? It's not like it was made in heaven like a lot of people, young girls might think. It was work. It's work to be married for almost 52 years. You never arrive.
Right.
You just don't arrive. I mean, you're constantly, looking after the other one.
Looking and learning.
Looking and learning. And you learn a lot from the beginning and to the end. In fact, there's so much to learn from the beginning to the end. I always had this this dream that when I grew up to be 98 years old, I was going to be this little old lady sitting on a hill and just welcoming all the young folks coming up behind me because they need guidance, and I've already been there, right? So it's the school of hard knocks, and when you
like that.
you do have, the older you get, really the more you have to offer. And for me, I love hanging out with people even older than me because I still can learn. So when we were first married, it was really important to my husband that I stay home and be the mom at home, and he would go out and make the money. And prior to that moment, I was in the airlines for 3 years before. They call them stewardesses. Today they call them flight attendants. But I was doing that, and that was kind of a glamorous job back then. And so then I get married, and we started having babies, and pretty much, my role was to stay home.
Right.
Whether I wanted to or not.
Right.
He really believed that was important, and I believe it is. And so when we got into the last business that we've been in now for 32 years, it's called GPAC, and it's a recruiting firm that we started in 1990. Nationwide, yes. Canada too, and wherever. And it was a real big deal and very challenging when we got into it. And it is with many things that we all get into in life. It's not just the recruiting world, but I think how we succeeded, how we made it. First, we've always had God as number one in our life. And so we leaned on him. That's number one. And then number two, this was the motto: failure is not an option.
Wow, that's good.
Failure is not an option. So whatever you're doing, when you make up your mind to failure is not an option, and we went in and we shut the door. What we didn't know then, we did know, but there was a recession going on.
Yeah.
Offices were closing all around us as we're starting. And it was hard work. And I really credit my husband. He was the one that muscled through it. I mean, I always said I was his strong right arm, and I was. And my roles were important and different than his roles. And when I say he was the one that muscled through it, he really did. And I was a strong support, and I believe did a great job in my role, probably because I love people. And I was therefore able to help all the people that were struggling coming into this new business.
So, Santa, you just said a very important thing. I think it's for us to take note of. Number one, you prioritize. You took care of home first. You stayed home.
Sure.
You stayed home.
Yes.
With the kids, and little by little, you begin to kind of integrate into the work.
That's exactly what it did.
Wonderful.
If you can afford to do that today.
Yeah. Now times are different.
But times. No, let me tell you about times.
Good point.
Times are different, and here's the difference. Back in the day when my husband, we're old school compared to the young folks today. I had the opportunity to do this in a gradual way, right?
Right.
Our children, we were very intentional about our children. They were the greatest thing in our lives. They never doubted that we loved them, and I don't think we've ever taken a trip without them, and they're all grown up.
Wow.
But what I'm saying to those of you today that have a full-time career, it is really tough. And I think when the man and the woman are both working in the house, I mean, she's working in the house and he's working outside the house, that the duties need to be shared. It must be almost impossible for a woman to go home, do all the mom things, household things, and then go hold down a 40-hour a week job. Wow, that's amazing. So I just say that I was blessed that I was able to fluctuate a little bit with the schedule. But after we got into the business and our youngest was off to school, Dave would drive him to school and I'd pick him up at 3:15.
Right.
So I worked from 8 to 3:15.
So it's important. Well, first of all, before I talk about that, I'm going to just shout out, as Sandy did, to all of you mothers and young single women that
Yes.
doing this by yourself. You know,
Yes.
it's hard with a husband.
It's hard with a
So
husband.
can you imagine whether you're a dad at home or a single dad? I don't
Yep.
want to forget the dads.
The dads,
because
same thing.
There's some good dads out there that are taking care of their children. But it's not easy in this economy. Social pressure, peer pressure, it's not easy. One thing that she did say, they started and they always kept God in the mix. So without that, let me say something to you, ladies and gentlemen. Keep him in the equation so that you can have that strength, that grace, that power, that wisdom that you need to continue to journey and navigate through what you're doing.
I want to talk about the moms or the dads that have chosen to stay home and raise your babies. And I think that's the greatest thing your kids can have. I will tell you, I believe it is harder to stay home raising babies than it is to go out to the workplace.
Wow.
It really is.
Yeah.
When I was staying home with the kids when they were little, I had just come out of the airlines where I was flying all over the world. Now I'm in this little town with two babies, and then 8 years later the third one. And I would watch people getting ready to go to work, and I'd be like, oh, I wish I could have a job again. But my husband wanted me raising the kids. So it's hard to stay home at home. I get that. And when I say it's a sacrifice for you personally, it's a sacrifice because you give up things you would love to do, but it's the greatest investment of your life.
Wow. Yeah.
Is your kids. And let me add this. Let me add this. There's an old song.
Great investment.
There's an old song, some of you might remember. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world.
Yes.
I never forgot that when I was young and staying home with those babies. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Because these babies that are raised up are going to be the result of that mom or dad that took that time to stay out of the workplace and do the things they would like to do.
So, anybody that knows me, it's not a secret that I don't have any biological children or kids.
5,000.
Underscore biological. Some of them say I'm living in denial on that.
But
I know that I'm their real mother.
Oh my, so, she is the mother.
Listen, but at that time, Sandy, were you cognizant of the fact that this wasn't about, this is not about me, it's about my children in this respect, that you understand, because this is your word, you were investing.
Yes,
I love that.
Yes.
You were investing. So when you invest, you give up, you put aside.
You give it your all.
Yeah.
It's your main intention.
And you understand that you're investing for a greater day. So that one day, hopefully you're getting a return on your investment, right?
I think I am.
But I think that's important. Maybe sometimes we lose sight of that it's the time to invest, whether it's, you're investing value, you're investing good morals, you're investing your own time, you're making that investment into your children, and you're investing to your future because, hopefully they're going to take care of you as they get later on. But I think that's a good thing to say to you that are listening, to maybe switch that paradigm a little bit and to understand that it's not just, I got to give up my time and because you could almost feel selfish,
right?
Or you can feel guilty that you give it up too much time or not enough time, or you feel like, well, what about me? But at that time in your life, at that gate, it wasn't about you in that sense, but it was about you doing what you're supposed to do at that time. And I think that you did that.
And I did feel that. I did feel that when I had my babies. I was happy to be able to stay home with them.
Yeah.
A lot of people have to go to daycare, and I can't even imagine dropping them off for the first time. But it was a blessing for me, even though it wasn't like a happy every day.
Sure.
It's not easy just talking to 2-year-olds when your friends are out with glamorous careers.
Wow.
So it's a sacrifice that way, but it's the best sacrifice you could have.
It's the best sacrifice. I like
also,
that.
I would like to say, I think it's turning around where a lot of young women that are having these children at that age would like to start staying home again.
Yeah.
Here's what happened.
Yeah.
Back in 1985, I think, 83 when Pete was born, there was what craze would you call that? When the woman, it was advertised on TV, she can go home and you fry the bacon in a pan and do everything as good as a man, something like that.
Right.
Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
It wasn't quite right, but
Yeah.
something about bacon in a fry pan. And you know what it did? Because us moms that were stay-at-homes, we didn't feel like we were, what's the word? Feeling very important, feeling like we weren't contributing to the world like our other
people
girlfriends
value,
that
yeah.
where's the value? I mean, who can't change a diaper? And women started to get upset about that, and they wanted equal pay, equal this, and they wanted the big house, the 2 cars, the boats, I mean, everything,
Right,
and
right.
it forced both people to go out and work.
Yeah, yes.
I think that was a ride that went on for several years. I think there's a little bit of that turning around where a lot of those women, I always refer to women because I'm a woman, but women or men probably would like to be home raising their kids.
Any part of the mom, wife, and then moving into the entrepreneur, owning the company, any place in there did you feel a little guilty?
I was in such a situation that I was able to take my 6-year-old. David drive him to school. They'd pray going to school.
And how many kids? We didn't say how many boys.
Oh, we had 3 sons, 3 boys.
Sons. My
3
3
boys.
sons.
My 3 sons, and they're lovely boys. They truly are. But with the last one, the other 2 were getting off to college or whatever, and Dave would drive him to school, and I'd go to work with Dave, and then at 3:15, I'd be there to pick my son up and go home. So he never had to go to a daycare or sitters or any. So maybe my situation is a little different that way, but also I'm seeing a lot of flexibility going on in our corporations, our companies, because they're really going to remote.
Yeah, so they're home.
So this means the parent can still have their child in their home. Some of them still take them to daycares, but seriously, there's more flexibility in your.
How is that working out with your company? What percentage? What's the
Oh my
percentage?
gosh! Right now, I mean, when COVID first started, and we had to close our doors, and we had offices in Nashville, Minneapolis, Denver, Phoenix, and 2 of them here in Sioux Falls. And my first reaction was, "Oh no, we're sunk. How is this going to work?" Because it's like kind of a tough job. I just think you need the camaraderie in the office.
Yeah.
It's doing better. Remote is better for our people.
Wow.
They're making as much money or more.
Are you serious?
Check out GPAC. It might be the thing for you. It seriously has been an amazing career for a lot of people. We started out in 1990 with 6 people.
Wow. And you have
500 and some now. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of just sort of stepped out of it here in the last year. Being a family business, we're still in it, meaning the 3 sons now that totally run it. I mean, we're a consultant with them now. So now I get to do what I really want to do in life.
was it an easy transition?
No, I cried.
Out the real.
If you are near retirement and you own a family business, this is what I think is the issue. If I worked for somebody else for 32 years and it was time for me to retire, I'd probably go, "Thank you. You've had 32 years of me," right?
Yeah, right.
But when you own the business, it's your baby.
yeah.
Oh, the blood, sweat, and tears we went through building this
It's
company,
So good.
that it's hard to let it go, right? And also what it means is you're maybe in the December of your life. That's kind of the last month of the year. Right. So when your kids are all grown up and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're thinking, you know what? I've lived most of my life already.
Yeah. Wow.
But not for me, because I got a lot of life to live.
So after you have prioritized your life with your family, husband, kids, job, after you have really been intentional about your time and the seasons of your life, with no regrets, you see now all of that sacrificing.
Yes.
This is good. The sacrificing that you did in the beginning, it paid off. Here's the thing: as your company grew, you grew.
Probably
the
true.
family
Yeah.
grew.
Yes, we
You know,
did.
the family dynamics. You were able to, I mean, a family business, that's great these days.
It is.
You know,
It is.
to keep that continuity
Right.
and to keep, you know, those. I mean, everybody around here know that GPAC is a wonderful company, very integral company.
Yes.
And
I
yes,
hope so. Thank you.
yeah, and everybody that I've just talked to someone that knew somebody that worked and they just loved the job,
Yeah.
just loved it, you know. But now, or should I say, finally, you know, not that you're taking off all the hats and not that you stopped juggling,
Right.
but now it could be about me,
Yes.
about you.
Yes.
As you continue to be grandmother to
Your grandmother of
yeah,
8.
grandmother 8.
And I mean, I love my kids, and they still call me for whatever they want to talk about. I'm lucky that they, you know, haven't walked away and just kept walking, because they keep us in their lives. And again, one more thing: when you're in a family business, good or bad, you find out your dinner tables are always talking about business, shopping.
Yeah.
There's a little. That's probably one piece we could have improved where we didn't do that so much.
Yeah.
But that's how our family was so integrated, because our kids were in the business.
I was just going to ask you, as you look back and as you're going on, and as a consultant, and or just giving tips like you're doing now, thank you very much. Is there something that you could see now that you would change, you would tweak, understanding that,
Yeah.
you know, anytime we're doing something, it has to start someplace,
Right.
and then you don't start running, you start walking, falling, getting back up. So it's you're ever learning and you're always growing. What just maybe something, maybe one out of each segment, out of a wife, out of a mother, out of your job, what would you maybe not regrets, but do
No,
differently?
what could I do differently? Starting with the mother, I was kind of
I hope I didn't put you on the spot.
She's got me on the spot. But I think if you were to ask any of my 3 sons what I was like as a mother, I wasn't very strict. And so I would get frustrated. Sometimes the boys would fight, and it's like, stop it. And that was probably the toughest part, but I didn't have probably the discipline with them. My sister always said, it's because you're like their sister. So I played with them all the time. I was too busy playing with them. So I could have been a little more disciplined, but I think they liked the way they were raised.
Sure.
But it probably would have calmed my nerves.
Yeah, see, now that's why you're probably the favorite. I'm not saying, I'm David, I'm not saying that she's the favorite, but I'm just saying. You know?
Anyway, it was a wonderful life.
Okay.
It was not without issue. Every family and every marriage and every parent, we'll always have a struggle here and again.
Yeah.
And but with everyone that you can crawl through and come out on the other side and keep hold of God. I keep him in my front pocket all the time. You're better for it. You're stronger in the end. So I think that there's a lot of you grow during some rough times.
Right.
So that would be that. So that's the kids, the husband, and the job. The only thing I would say about the career we had, it's been 32 years, and it was awesome. It's been very plentiful. I would say if I could have gotten my husband to leave it at work instead of bringing it. This is fair. And he wishes that too, actually.
Sure.
I think that our lives could have been a little, should I say, less stressed or less always thinking about the business.
Right.
I think we should have put it aside and sat down at the table and enjoyed other things.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So now you get a chance to do that.
We do.
So now you have, and David, I hope you're listening to this. I hope you're listening to this. Now you have a time to just let it be some time for you and for you and for us.
Yes.
You know,
I got a great thing going on.
Yeah. I mean, this is your time now. I mean, I think that to every husband, to every wife, after hard work, after work, it's a reward. After work, it's the next thing on the calendar. It's the next season in life. That it's time to reward yourself with doing exactly what you want to do.
Amen.
And here's the thing: you take care of everybody, you help everybody, and I'm just talking to everybody.
Yes.
You know, most people they put themselves second or last.
Or last.
Not even second, just last. So I think, and that's a new paradigm. That's a new thought. And that's a new, maybe a task in life that now you're on top.
Yeah.
Who's on first? You're on first. Dave is on first. You guys are on first now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It is. It truly is.
Yeah. So there's the joy. There's the reward. There's the new life. Do you feel like?
I do feel.
Do you feel like it's a new life?
I do feel like it's a new life, especially since I hooked back up with Judy. Because let me tell you about my new life. I'm so excited about. First, it's been great being on Judy's podcast today, and it was just crazy how God kind of threw us together because we met. I don't know if we'd seen each other in 10 years.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, we connected this month of February, and God, honestly, it just landed. We are having our own podcast show. Isn't that cool? And do you know what it's called? The Salt and Pepper View.
It was a result of me doing my relaunch when we reconnected.
Yes.
We texted and got together again, and it really inspired her to do what she's always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we'll give you a good run at start. Yes, come on. You can do it. I was acting all brave and like I knew what I was doing. I just got restarted. But, kudos to you and...
Kudos to you. Kudos to God, because He just sort of sealed it.
Yeah.
And we think the Salt and Pepper View would be good, don't you?
So put that in your comments.
Yeah.
Salt and Pepper View.
Salt and Pepper View.
Yeah, another podcast, doing something more, something different, something with life, something with value to you and to,
Critical
whatever we can say.
Good conversations.
Good conversations. And whatever we can say to be an encouragement to you. Uplifting to you. It's all about you. It's still, listen, we're doing it, but it's still about you. And I think that all of our messages, they're going to be authentic, as mine's are, as she always authentic.
Yes.
We're going to be creating our own content, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to come from our lives. And if she's been married 51 years, I'm saying she didn't get married when she was 10, okay? So I'll just start there. And she probably did get married when she was 15. I'm not going to go any further because I want to still be friends.
No.
And if I've been speaking for about... I've been speaking for over 45 years.
See, okay.
Over 50 years. Over 50 years.
50 years.
And so we've been around the block a couple times. We do have some wisdom
Together we should really have some great wisdom.
Yeah. We got at least 100 years of wisdom.
100.
Right, what
that's
I'm
right.
talking
100
about.
years of
100
wisdom.
years of wisdom right here.
Yes.
This has been fun, Sandy.
Truly.
This has been great. And I'm so happy to reconnect. I'm so happy that you were inspired. And I hope you guys are inspired to be the best you. No matter how many hats you're wearing. And, don't feel guilty or don't feel like you've missed your life. As long as there's blood running in your veins.
Amen.
You can still do what you need to do. If you want to go back to school, if you want to, whatever you want to do, it's your turn. Can I tell that to somebody out there? It's your turn and it's your time.
Yep.
So take advantage of it. We're living our best. We're
living our best right now.
Because we made a decision to do that.
Yep.
We could have done something else. We could have complained. We could have said... But no, we just said, listen, we're going to model with this thing. We're going to model our message.
Absolutely.
We're going to model our message. So there it is. Sandy, mother, wife, entrepreneur, friend.
Friends, yes,
now
friends.
It's about Sandy.
Well, a little bit about Sandy anyway.
Yeah.
And Judy.
Yeah, right. And now it's about you. So take these tips. Put in the comments, say what really spoke to you. Make some comments about how you feel. It maybe some questions, and I'll get back. We'll get back to answer them. All right. So it's been fun. It's been nice. Don't forget on Wednesdays we're podcasting. We are doing our webinars. We're doing our table talk. And next week, it's a really, really, really good one. We already got it sketched out. So we want to see you again. And don't forget, Monday, Inspiraction. That's always good. Keep your eyes on that. And know that we're here just for you. All right. Stay safe. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.